They will still be alive 20 years after they were diagnosed and treated.
My advice to the women of the Caribbean, after going through the research, some people have more risk factors than others, but everyone has a certain amount of risk for breast cancer. Breast cancer is very common. A lot of people think, it's not that common. It's 1 in 7 people will get breast cancer. What can you do? You can get a mammogram every year, starting at age 40, or earlier, younger, if you have a strong family history of having breast cancer. That's very important. A mammogram can save your life. Do it for yourself and for your family. It's often been said that when a woman dies or when a mother dies, the entire family dies. So take care of yourselves, get a mammogram.
They made me feel that comfort that it's not a death sentence.
Early detection is the best prevention against most cancers. I am a survivor of breast cancer. I can tell you that if I were not early detected, I probably won't be here speaking to you. I want you to wake up, sisters. Go out there, get your screenings done. It's easy, it's not painful, it just may be a little uncomfortable, but you can go with a sister, go with a friend, but get screened.
As we close today, we hope our viewers take some watchwords: early detection, self-awareness, get yourself checked. As we have seen throughout this program, there are many survivors out there who have fought this battle and won. As advancements in research continue, and as more and more people become aware of this disease and remain vigilant, many more survivors are joining the ranks. There is a message of hope. Breast cancer has one of the best survival rates once detected early. We hope that you remember that this fight against breast cancer is not just one group's concern. We are all in this together.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, it's day 2 of the Ministry of Works tour on Grand Bahama. Also, the Grand Bahama Port Authority asking residents to stop indiscriminate dumping. And here are the powerful story of a breast cancer survivor. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahamas, I'm Shoshana Wolf-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Minister of Works wrapping up a 2-day visit to Grand Bahama today. This morning, Minister Sears and delegation headed west and were able to tour the new administrative complex and the new junior high school that has been a source of some frustration as they are both still under construction. Our Megan Shepard was there.
Day 2 of the Infrastructural tour led by the Minister of Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, beginning in the city of Freeport at the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center and at the Freeport Post Office. The Minister having a brief opportunity to hear firsthand from contractors about the work that has been carried out on the buildings in recent years. Then it was on to the 8 Mile Rock community, where the delegation also got an update on the administrative complex that is still under construction and which is expected to house a police station and magistrates court. Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obadiah Wilshcombe, also a part of the delegation.
The bottom line is we wanted to ensure that we had a state-of-the-art administrative complex that will house all of government facilities. It's also an economic issue because if everything is taken to Freeport, then the economy will not grow. So it's an economic stimulant. It is to cause for further growth and for the the western end of Grand Bahama, and in particular 8 Mile Rock.
Minister Wilshcombe noting that the current administrator's office will eventually transition into a cultural center. The Holmes Rock Junior High School also a part of the familiarization tour. Minister Wilshcombe giving this update.
During the Christie administration in 2016, we broke ground for this facility. I believe it's going to be productive and progressive. We wanted it to be a state-of-the-art. We wanted it to be a prime example of the new state of education in the global community, not just in the Bahamas.
And as to when the community in the West can expect to see these major buildings officially opening their doors, Director of Works, Melanie Roach.
With regards to the school facility, our aim is to have both the building and the external works completed by the end of June of 2022. With regards to the administrative complex, there's some financial issues that need to be worked out. As you may or may not be aware, that is a public-private partnership, and we're working with the private partnership as well as the Ministry of Finance to establish what is the balance of funding required to complete the building and what is the time frame required to complete the building.
Now, a major concern for the local Ministry of Works team is their current maintenance compound in the Jonestown community. Tony Bannister noting that there are 15 members of the team who have been displaced since 2017. Minister Sayers says that they plan to act as soon as possible.
They don't have workspaces for the carpenters, the plumbers, the maintenance technicians, and the landscapers, which are operators, and we don't have a current space to house our machines. And so right now they're working on an on-call basis where they come into the office and check their respective pouches for work orders, and then they're just deployed to site.
And as you can see, that facility was condemned on 2 occasions. Well, now it's on our watch. We're not looking back. We have to make sure that we establish a workshop so that the preparatory work, the carpentry work that is necessary for restoration and maintenance is done.
Overall, he is extremely pleased with the quality of work as well as the level of inspections being carried out in the Western District. However, he says the tour has given him a sense of urgency to have a number of the projects completed.
The tour has been one which has given us a sense of extreme urgency because we see how vital these projects are, and we're asking the contractors, where possible, to accelerate the work.
NS Network News.
And the Minister of Works and Utilities, along with other government officials on Grand Bahama and its local team on a 2-day tour of capital works to the infrastructure within its portfolio. The 2-day tour kicking off in East Grand Bahama, and our Megan Shepard was also there, and she has this full recap.
The Minister of Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, along with a delegation, including the Parliamentary Secretary, Bacchus Roll, the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, and other stakeholders in the Ministry of Works, touring key infrastructure in the Eastern District. The Minister was able to meet with a number of stakeholders at the various stops, including the President of the University of the Bahamas Northern Campus. Minister Sayers notes that he is pleased with the plans for the campus's redevelopment.
A lot of work has been done in terms of declaring the building and repurposing the building to establish a center of research around sustainability and resilience and the generation in time of new knowledge that will distinguish Grand Bahama as a center of research and education.
Continuing in the east, the delegation also toured the docks in Water Key. From there, the team took a second ferry to Sweetings Key.
As you know, the dock at that key was destroyed, and a design for its reconstruction is being undertaken, and work will start with the construction of that dock. Also, we visited the McLean Town Clinic, and then we proceeded to Sweetings Key. And you know, Sweetings Key is, for me, when I served as Minister of Education, I had to deal with the tragedy that occurred there with the students from Martintown Primary School. But it was sad to see that the dock that I had used and remember quite well is really destroyed. We also visited the school, and again to see the devastation that has been done to the educational infrastructure.
Over on Sweetings Key, the team met with local government officials to get an update on the redevelopment to date. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, expressing gratitude to the local and international non-governmental organizations that have partnered with the government to assist the Key thus far.
They have helped us so much, and without them, we're not sure where we'd be. As for Sweetings Key, the NGOs stepped up big time and actually did most of the work that's been done there. So we intend to continue the partnership. We know that there's a lot of work still to be done, and we're hoping that with the programs that we've initiated, they will continue to be a part of that.
Also included in the tour, the destroyed seawall in High Rock and the destroyed preschool, which officials say residents would like to see repurposed into a community center. The Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, noting that he is committed to working on the redevelopment of his constituency. He gave this update on the final stop for the day, the proposed site for the new comprehensive school in High Rock.
That is a very important project for East Grand Bahama. We have, the previous government had put some funding in the budget for it, and so again, I'm very pleased that we are able to come and look at the site, and then we will be advocating for that project to continue because it is a very important project for East Grand Bahama. We were able to see Sweetings Key, and again, he was able to see the situation for himself, again, which I'm very pleased by, that he was able to see it. They are still in need. There is still tremendous need for the people in Sweetings Key. And so we will continue to be an advocate, and we will also continue to work with this government to assist in any way that we can.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, President of the University of the Bahamas Northern Campus, Dr. Ian Strachan, says that he is pleased that the Minister of Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, made it a priority to visit the Northern Campus. He shared these plans for the Eastern Campus going forward.
Those plans involve really dedicating this space that was so negatively impacted by climate change to the study of the environment, the marine environment, the land, the water, and to issues of climate change. And so this is going to become a marine and environmental science field research station. It will have a residential component so that researchers, whether they be local or international, can stay in the field and sleep over and have all of the amenities they would need, roughing it a little, but not roughing it too much.
Dr. Strawn notes that the second floor of the building received little to no damage during the passage of Hurricane Dorian, and thankfully those rooms will be able to be utilized in a meaningful way.
We have classrooms and a laboratory, and those will be expanded because we want UB North to be a STEM campus. We want UB North to be a place within the university system where you can study environmental science, marine science, where you can do engineering, you can do computer science, you can do atmospheric science. And so that is our push. So we see the storm as an opportunity to sort of refocus, and we've actually had quite a lot of success. So we're going to be announcing some of those grants that we've received very soon for research right now happening on the island of Grand Bahama. And so we're excited about the potential of this space so that we can really become a center for excellence in research in the sciences.
Meantime, the Minister of Grand Bahama also speaking candidly to our ZNS News team about the decision to amend the Special Economic Recovery Zone to allow vehicles imported conditionally duty-free into Grand Bahama and Abaco that they be approved to be transferred anywhere in the Bahamas without prior approval and subsequent payment of customs duties.
What happened was a couple months ago, we were bombarded by stories of those who have been trying to get their vehicles and just couldn't. And just couldn't because they were, first of all, trying to figure out where they were going to live, what they were going to eat. They didn't have jobs. Some still don't have jobs. And so we felt that it wasn't right that the opportunity to be able to take advantage of the exemption wouldn't be allowed because they did not have the resources at that time. And so you had many who either had their letters in hand, but it would have expired, or you had those who hadn't applied yet because they just don't have it right now. One of the first things that we wanted to do was to not just extend the order, but we wanted to ensure that those who purchased vehicles, because so many people moved to different islands, we wanted to be sure that they were able to move their vehicles from island to island.
Now, all approvals that were previously issued for importation of replacement vehicles under that order and have not been used by the applicant may now be applied towards the importation of a vehicle duty-free. She says the response so far has been overwhelming.
Just being throughout the community over the past few months, you get to hear it all, you see it all, you recognize things that I consider sometimes to be easy fixes, and so that's what you do. If there is a need, and we know that we can do something about it that would make things better for people, then we get to it right away.
In other news, the Keep Grand Bahama Clean Committee using the month of October to highlight the importance of keeping the island clean, green, and pristine. But there's two main problems. Indiscriminate dumping and littering remains a challenge. Tonight, they're asking residents to discontinue this illegal activity and to do their part to return the island back to its beautiful state. Jamila Mizik has this report.
Toilets, refrigerators, pots, pans, wires, tires, furniture, and even an old car. All the evidence of illegal, indiscriminate dumping right here through a track road in the Chesapeake area.
Chairperson for the Keep Grand Bahama Clean Committee, Nikira Wilshcombe, says indiscriminate dumping and littering remains a major concern here on the island, and a number of concerned residents are speaking out about the vexing issue.
We wanted to highlight this very vexing issue because it's impacting all of us. A lot of persons believe out of sight, out of mind, and so rather than going to the Pine Ridge landfill, even as a homeowner, to dispose of their debris for free, they choose to look at these unlit, deserted areas so that they can dump debris and indiscriminately dump. And it's a shame.
Wilchcomb says they're also seeking the assistance of police in addressing the problem.
We want to see, obviously, Grand Bahama come back in so many areas. And, in dumping and hurting our environment certainly impacts our economy. It certainly impacts the health of our people. And so we want to send a clarion call to residents, to business owners, whether you be contractors or restaurateurs, anyone who wants to do this type of practice to stop. We are so serious about this issue. We've met recently with the Royal Bahamas Police Force at the highest level just to really, emphasize to them how important this issue is to us because we think it's criminal. And you'll see today in this particular setting, in this location, which is a representation of many areas in Grand Bahama, unfortunately, that may be undeveloped, where people are choosing to dispose of their debris in such a manner.
And she's encouraging residents to dispose their debris at the landfill.
We encourage persons to make the effort. We know that sometimes you may consider that it's a trek to go to the Pine Ridge landfill, but if you truly love your island, if you truly love your community, you will make that sacrifice and go, where it's necessary to dispose of debris properly. Because one of the things we also like to do is sometimes when we find these, spots, indiscriminate dumping sites, is to also look through the debris. So be careful, be warned that you can possibly be found out as a result of the investigations that we do as well.
Customer service manager at the Grand Bahama Development Company, Christine van der Linde, says Lusco is working feverishly to get out as quickly as they can to clean up areas as complaints come in.
You can go on www.lusco.org and it will give you all the information that you need. You can call 350-9316 and then, we'll have someone there to answer your call. Or you can call 350-9000 and ask for the complaint line for DEFCO. And we'll be happy to come out and look at what you are complaining about to try and solve the matter.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Come on down now. For your large and small generators, propane and butane stoves, LED flashlights, fuel canisters, coolers, batteries, gas and electric chainsaws, cooking supplies, tarps, matches, duct tape, and more.
It's fall at the Dollar Plus store in downtown Freeport with bargains galore. Score great deals on Halloween costumes and supplies. We have snacks, gift bags, toys, and everything you need for parties and birthdays. And you can always find great prices on household items, cleaning products, health and beauty, and hair accessories. Visit Dollar Plus for these great deals and many more.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water, apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
Ice the coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the this, sweet like a sugar in a dripping like ice, huh?
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and tonight we bring you the story of a cancer survivor. She's advising others afflicted with the disease not to give up the fight. Jamila Mizek reports.
Lucida Johnson says it was in 2016 when she discovered a lump in her breast determined to be cancer. She says after having surgery, some 4 weeks later, she was declared cancer-free. However, she was required to do 4 rounds of chemo treatments and 5 rounds of radiation. Today, at 71 years old, she is a 5-year breast cancer survivor.
Thanks be to God, it did not make me sick. None of the treatment did not make me sick. My children cry more than I did. I did not worry about it because I know I have God on my side, and the Bible says that he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for iniquity, the chastisement was upon us, and by our stripes we are healed. And I put my trust in God, and I know God would bring me out.
Johnson says she thanks God every morning for keeping her in good health, and she keeps herself occupied by working in her garden. She believes eating greens from her garden has also helped her to maintain her health.
I would do my devotion from 5 o'clock until 6, and then at 6 o'clock, a group of girls, we have a prayer line going on, and some of the girls on the prayer line, they're cancer survivors also. So we'll just share with one another, sing and pray and encourage one another. And then when we finish, I would come in my yard and tell my things good morning and talk with them and pick trees, the leaves around the trees, because like the doctor told me, said that working in the yard is a good therapy.
She says cancer is not a death sentence, and she's encouraging those with cancer to put their trust in God. Johnson adds that it is her hope that Grand Bahama will soon have an oncology center.
Right now, I go and I do a mammogram every year, once a year. And October is today is my birthday, and I need to do it in October, but we don't have a mammogram machine working in Grand Bahama. From last year, we do not have a mammogram machine in Grand Bahama. And it's very important that we get this mammogram machine working, because I need to go now, and if it's not working, I have to go and see a private doctor, which I don't have funds. But, you know, God is my provider. He's going to provide for me.
And this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, she's sharing this bit of advice to women.
The most important thing, pray, read the Bible, and stay in the Word. Stay in the Word, and the Word would help you. Drink your bush tea, drink your fever grass, drink your soursop leaf, drink your moringa, drink your leaves. Come off the tea bag, do not use the tea bag, because this is what the doctor tell me. Sodas, do not use sodas. Red meat, I used to leave red meat. I use a lot of fish and turkey. I use vegetables and do my juice. Examine those breasts, examine those breasts. Thanks be to God, I was able. I find my lump in my breast myself. No doctor did not find that. I find that laying on my bed, examining myself. It's very important. And go and do your mammogram.
Jamila Mizek, ZNS Network News.
Well, the education profession has lost another outstanding teacher. Earlier this month, members of the profession mourned the passing of former educator Sheila Scavala. And this week, teachers are once again mourning the death of principal of St. Paul's Methodist College, Jacqueline Pinder. Tonight, her colleagues say they are deeply moved by her passing. Jamila Mizek reports.
Educators reminiscing on the life and legacy of veteran educator and former principal Jackie Pinder. Administrator at Tabernacle Baptist Academy, Norris Bain, acknowledging Pinder as one of the women who played an influential role in his development as a young educator.
Lynn Glinton, Sheila Scavala, and Jackie Pinder. I could call on them any hour of the day, and they were ready to give solid, sound advice to this this young principal. And Jackie and I remain close in terms of sharing of educational ideas and just the betterment of the various schools that we were involved in. And our last set of communication with her was during a time as principal of the St. Paul's Methodist School.
During her time under the Ministry of Education, Pinder served for several years as principal of the Walter Parker Primary School. Current principal Romelda Bean says she knew Pinder for about 20 years, working together in the education system.
This Pinder's always been an administrator of excellence. She always expected your best at all times. She never accepted mediocrity. She asked teachers to put their best foot forward all the time. And she was just always a sophisticated, professional individual that did the job the way it's supposed to be done. She was someone we could depend on or call on for anything. So let's say I needed help in something, I could call on Miss Pinder and she would help me.
She says Pinder made a significant impact during her time at the institution.
Academically, she got the grades back to where it needed to be because it had changed a lot over the previous years before. Otherwise, she made some changes in terms of, I think she was the person responsible for the parking lot, the paving of the parking lot, and she just got it back to character building traits and making sure our children knew the kinds of things that they should know before she left here.
Coach at Walter Parker Primary, Dorothy Russell, says she and Pinder worked together at 3 different institutions, Lewis Yard Primary, Maurice Moore Primary, and Walter Parker Primary, adding that Pinder was always full of life and her legacy will live on.
As a coach, if I needed something, she was there. If the children were playing on the field, Mrs. Pinder is always there. She was always there. Even at games, she would appear to show her support. That's the kind of person she was. With advice, she would always say, Dorothy, you gotta make life what you want it to be. You gotta enjoy life. Life is too short. And I took her advice.
First grade teacher at Walter Parker Primary, Nicole Walken, recalls knowing Pinder from she was a little girl attending St. Paul's Methodist College. She says she remembers her clearly as she was one of the only Bahamian teachers at the school.
And I remember the first day when she walked through the gate, she had very, very long black hair. And we were all wondering who the teacher is. And come to find out she was a Bahamian teacher. And from then our relationship blossomed again until I saw her a few years ago when she entered Walter Parker. She was our principal then. And I think my relationship with her was a little bit different because she expected more. She expected us to carry ourselves differently because we were Bahamian.
The educators each sending their condolences to the Pinder family, adding that she will be dearly missed. Pinder last served as principal of St. Paul's Methodist College. She passed away on October 20th at the age of 68. Shamila Misig, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. Our Facebook Friend of the Night up next.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, in partnership with the GB Resilience Center, presents The Unveil, a virtual youth month initiative tackling youth mental health issues. Friday, October 29th at 10 a.m. Let's talk about it and keep it real.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Stephanie Jones, you are our Facebook friend. This Friday, we thank you for your support. And that is going to do it for us here in the North on this Friday. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Wolf-Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues, and you enjoy your weekend.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, a former prime minister weighs in on the opposition's leadership battle. A teen, one of 12 new COVID deaths. Top cops reflect on their time away from the force, and an investigation underway into imported onions. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, sticking by a claim he made repeatedly while in opposition, and that's that the Menace administration's decision to sell the beleaguered Grand Lucaya Hotel was a bad deal for Bahamians. He contends better investments in properties like the Grand Lucaya will drive that island's economy.
We are concerned about the property. We are concerned about the deal that's in place. There is an agreement in place, and therefore I will not say too much beyond what I've said for public consumption before. I've said 2 years ago, perhaps, it was a bad deal. I said that when I visited Grand Bahama. I maintain that it's a bad deal for the Bahamian people. We are looking actively to see how we can advance the development investment of the property. The people of Grand Bahama needs a break. The economic engine will be driven by investments in properties like this and others. We actively engage in causing there to be more investment opportunities in the Bahamas by foreign as well as domestic investors. In due course, we will make a further announcement in relation to the Grand Lucaya. Suffice to say, it's high on our agenda, and if we don't go to bed thinking about it, we wake up working on it.
Well, meantime, the government's taking steps to encourage more members of the business community to invest in the economy. According to Minister Cooper, here's why such a move is necessary.
It's important that we own our Bahamas. It's important we own our economy. And therefore, it's important that persons who are minded to invest engage actively in the process of investing. Today, there is still not enough participants who are Bahamian investing in the tourism business in particular, and therefore, this is key for us to see happening as we move along. So there is much work to be done, and our objective is to make the process very, very smooth, very transparent, and to expedite projects in the pipeline.
Well, Hubert Ingram has never been one to mince words, and today when asked about the leadership battle within the party he 3 times led to victory, he didn't shy away from reporters on what he thinks and where he will be when it all plays out.
No chance whatsoever.
The rather curt response of former Prime Minister Right Honourable Hubert Ingram when asked if his namesake, now opposition leader Dr. the Most Honourable Hubert Minnis, can be nominated for leader from the floor of the Free National Movement's November convention. Ingram's reasoning, pretty straightforward.
If he wants to run, the party is determined. All candidates must be nominated by the 18th of November. And each person who's nominated must sign the nomination form himself, saying he wants to be nominated, he accepts the nomination, and signed by 2 other party members. If he wants to do that, he can do that. But on the 18th of November, the office of leader of the FNM will be vacant. And Peter Turnquist, the deputy leader of the party, will act as leader until a leader is elected on the 27th of November.
Ingram's comments come as the FNM's bid for leader heats up ahead of its one-day convention. However, following a council meeting last month, it was determined that while Minnis will lead the official opposition into Parliament next week, he has agreed to not contest the party's bid for leader. As for what will take place on that day, Ingram assures he will be there to watch it play out.
Certainly, the party can count on me to support, contribute, make suggestions in any way, shape, or form. I have not been active in the last 5 years or more because I didn't feel that my advice or counsel who was appreciated, wanted, or needed. And so I did not avail myself of any opportunity to get in the way of anyone.
The FNM's one-day convention is set for November 27th. Now, speaking of the FNM's leadership, second-term politician Shannon Dawn Cartwright and political newcomer Adrian White also weighing in on the closely watched race.
Whether it's fresh leadership from existing leaders within a party or fresh leadership in the sense of there being somebody different from the current leadership, I definitely think that there's always opportune time within either political party and any organization to eye and aim towards fresh leadership.
After a loss, again, as I mentioned, that there is great determination that's made by the party of how the party should look, how it should feel. And that process is being facilitated right now. I think that you always have to assess and evaluate going forward what the Bahamian people wants from your political party, particularly after a loss in a general election.
Well, former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis has since issued a statement reaffirming that he will neither nominate for the FNM's leadership nor will he allow his name to be placed in nomination. Still, he wished all those who do well. Now, instead, he says he will continue to serve as the Member of Parliament for the Killarney constituency, thanking all those who supported him since 2007, straight up to last month's general election. As an opposition MP, Minnis vows to continue to promote measures to save and protect the lives and livelihoods of Bahamians, using his experience in office and as a medical doctor. The former Prime Minister added that it has been an extraordinary privilege to have served the country as Prime Minister and MP, and that he thanks Bahamians and his party for their support and encouragement, and well wishers for their advice, prayers, and assistance. In other news this evening, top cops placed on leave in 2019 now back at the helm of the Royal Bahamas Police Force's executive leadership team, appearing on an episode of Cop Talk early this afternoon. Of the topics discussed, their 2-year absence from the force. Here's Antoine Smith.
What happened to us, I believe, should never ever happen to any other senior officers anywhere in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Two top brass members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force speaking out for the first time following their abrupt departure more than a year ago. Now reinstated, Assistant Commissioner of Police Lamont Delaveau and Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander are now opening up about the previous administration's decision to deploy the officers to, quote, special assignments.
I pray to God that it never happened to none of my colleagues, the disrespect. And I pray to God that it never happened. But I have put it away. I've put it in the God's hands and leave it with him. So I'm here now to continue this fight.
Fernander assumes responsibility for intelligence management, a large portfolio which includes prison security and special operations. ACP Delaveau now at the helm of criminal proceedings, an office for which the Nassau Street Courts and prosecution falls. He admits, though, the strides made by other assistant commissioners in his absence have been invaluable.
The areas for which I hold responsibility, those officers went far beyond to assist me. I'm eternally grateful to those officers. I am telling you, Sarge, those officers have really assisted me and they made my job a lot easier.
The assistant commissioners both admitting that it was the support of fellow colleagues that kept them going through such a tough time.
When Mr. Fernanda, Mr. Strawn and I and the other officers left, we left a family here in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Those families had not gone anywhere. Unity is strength, and I want myself and the colleagues to let's put whatever differences aside, and now we are moving forward to ensure that this country is safe.
Antoine Smith, ZNS Network News.
The Court of Appeal has granted conditional bail to murder accused Stephon Davis. Davis had fought for bail on the grounds that the judge in the lower court erred by denying him bail in his murder case because he was already on bail for armed robbery, and that his electronic monitoring device did not place him at the scene of the murder. Well, after hearing from both sides, the Court of Appeal panel allowed Davis's appeal and granted him bail in the amount of $25,000 with 2 sureties. They also ordered that he wear an electronic monitoring device with reporting conditions and a 6 p.m. daily curfew. He also has to stay away from witnesses, and if he breaks any of the conditions, his bail will be revoked. And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. all right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
KFC Saucy Wings gives you the choice. A precisely calculated chicken to sauce ratio for that perfect wing experience. Or a totally wild, completely coated sauce adventure that transcends traditional flavor boundaries. Whatever your choice, get sauced with KFC Saucy Wings for the perfect amount of flavor. Saucy Wings at KFC Nassau. So good.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A worrisome jump in local COVID deaths after another 12 people succumbed to the virus between September 23rd and October 14th. Again, 12 people died, all from New Providence. Health officials recording the youngest victim as a 16-year-old male who died on October 4th, the eldest a 92-year-old woman who passed on September 23rd. These latest deaths leading to a 642 death toll countrywide. Meantime, newly confirmed cases are at 25, 22 of them on New Providence and 1 each on Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Andros. Hospitalizations remain in the triple digits at 103, with 91 people moderately ill and 12 people in the intensive care unit. At last count, 28 people had recovered from COVID, while active cases stand at 20,181. The Public Hospitals Authority is aware of news reports circulating concerning the alleged treatment of clients at the maternity ward, Princess Margaret Hospital. The PHA wishes to advise that the authority takes very seriously all matters concerning the delivery of health care to its obstetric clients and their newborns. The public is advised that the PHA subscribes to the following standards operating procedures related to poor care or neglect, and that includes that any form of insubordination, patient mismanagement, or lack of following proper standards of care will not be tolerated. That at the time of the initial discovery of a bad outcome, an initial counseling session with the client must be conducted by the physician team, and that a second, more formal counseling session may occur, if necessary, conducted by a senior physician or consultant with the patient and family members, and that all staff working the obstetrics and gynecology department will implicitly abide by the rules and laws of the obstetrics and gynecology department, as well as the rules and laws of the PHA and PMH. Employees who fail to do so will face swift punitive action as guided by the PHA and the PMH HR disciplinary procedures. Meantime, local authorities are warning of a food recall. This, of course, in line with a similar decision made by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration following the importation of Salmonella-tainted onions. Carla Palmer has the details.
The recall of whole red, yellow, and white onions, said to be contaminated with Salmonella, are from the batch shipped into countries between July 1st and August 27th this year. Local authorities could not readily confirm if this shipment coming from Mexico was even imported into the Bahamas. However, Director of Food Safety and Quality Authority at the Department of Agriculture, Dr. Patricia Johnson, says a traceback investigation is in progress.
Thus far, this has not manifested itself as a problem, as we have not been made aware of imports of this affected onion into the country. However, out of an abundance of caution, and as you know, we import quite a bit of our produce, our food, from the United States, and therefore, out of an abundance of caution, we issue public statements in these types of matters. BAFSA is in the process of developing a food registry system that will allow us, based on the UPC code, to know which foods enter into our ports. Okay, but unfortunately that system is not on stream at the moment. However, we do ask that importers, particularly your retailers, your wholesalers, anyone who imports food into the country, to ensure that onions that were supplied by ProSauce Incorporated between the dates of having a date on them of July 1st to August 27th are not sold, are not used, are not eaten.
In the event the affected onions are here and have been distributed into the wider community, authorities are also asking restaurants, fast food providers, as well as consumers to be aware and discard the produce.
We also depend on the local distributors to indicate whether or not they would have received that product, and if they would have, to issue a recall themselves to the public, to whom they would have sold any of the affected goods. That will also help to get the word out, to have that announcement, that communication through the media, as also through postings throughout the store, to make their consumers fully aware.
Dr. Johnson says BAFSA will keep the public updated and informed.
The investigation is in its early stages. The investigation is being done by the U.S. FDA and also the CDC. So at this time, they are unsure whether or not other distributors or other products are affected.
In the event these affected onions by ProSauce Incorporated were imported and distributed here, consumers are being advised to clean and sanitize every area the produce would have come into contact with. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
My name is Dr. Nakia Forbes. I am an infectious diseases physician. I also am the director of the National HIV/AIDS and Infectious Diseases Program at the Bahamas Ministry of Health, and a clinical tutor at the local medical school. That's the University of the West Indies School of Clinical Medicine and Research. We're continuing to have a large number of infections in country and active infections. And we know that we have to balance health, but there are many other things that are impacted, such as the economy and socialization. We also have to fight these changing strains of COVID-19, including the Delta strain. And these mutant strains of COVID-19, they're really concerning because they can make people sicker. They're easily spread. They can impact way more persons with COVID-19. And they're very, very infectious as the chickenpox, which is highly infectious. Now, what can we do to protect ourselves and our loved ones? Well, one of the things that we have to do is get vaccinated. These vaccines are safe. The benefit outweighs the risk. They have been studied in clinical trials, and they're very effective to protect against COVID-19. And so I encourage everyone to get to know the facts on these COVID-19 vaccines. Ask your local healthcare provider. There are reputable places you can go to get the facts on COVID-19, like the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, the WHO website, the Ministry of Health, and the Office of the Prime Minister's website also have reputable information on those vaccines. We all have to think about ways to reduce our risk for getting COVID-19 because COVID-19 is not going away for a little while. So these are some of the things that we can do to protect ourselves and to reduce the chance of having outbreaks of COVID-19 at work and in country, because those can definitely spread larger. So be safe, everyone. We look forward to having more persons immunized, and hopefully we'll be in a better position as it relates to hospitalizations and deaths and bad outcomes with COVID-19 in country, and see these numbers settle down. And I'm hopeful that will happen. So wishing you all the best of health and safety. And this is Dr. Nakia Forbes, and thank you for inviting me to tourism today.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
We've heard it over and over again. Hurricane preparation is key. But aside from making sure you have all the tangible items to get through the storm comfortably, paying attention to your kids, who in most cases don't have the same level of preparation experience, is also vital. Psychologist and CEO of Richardson Psychotherapeutic and Consultant Limited says that it is important to talk to children.
Children aren't really familiar, depending on their ages, of what it could entail and what they need to be prepared for. I would encourage families to have conversations with their kids about just hurricane preparedness, letting them know that the lights may go off, or here's our food supply and why we might have to kind of ration for a few days, or here's our safety plan in case something happens to mommy or daddy. I think it's the parents' job to do this now ahead of time, as we are in the middle of the season, and we've known a few years ago we had a really bad hurricane, and we still have a lot of people suffering from the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. And so we want to make sure that they are well equipped and informed.
And while it's good to be realistic with kids about the potential harm hurricanes can cause, maintaining composure and being kind and patient with them during the storm's passage will help in keeping them at ease.
Kids feed off of whatever their parents are engaging in. And so they want to make sure that they're trying to keep as calm as possible and realistic as well. So if they are afraid, they can have that conversation with their child, asking them how they're doing, reassuring them that they are doing their best job to keep them as safe as possible. And when necessary, just hold them if they can. Believe it or not, that physical touch goes a long way.
And if the trauma is intense, here's how you know when to seek additional help for your child.
If you notice your kid is reverting in a lot of behavior, that they may not want to eat the same way or sleep in their beds anymore, they always want that constant attention and contact, those are some signs to let you know that the things that you may be doing aren't working anymore, and say they may need some additional help.
Richardson also has advice for adults.
What I would tell them to do is have your coping mechanisms in place. If that is some deep breathing activity, if that is making sure you have your safety plan in place, believe it or not, preparation is key. We find that if people have a plan for what they're going to do when a storm comes or when a storm's approaching, that helps alleviate some anxiety, as well as you may want to reach out to your support team, find your safest place to be.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Digital Media.
Hey, long time no see. You hear me?
Long time no see.
Boiled fish, stew conch. I love it all.
Tourists come here to take our tours, experience our sun, sand, and sea, and they also spend money around town.
I used to see a bunch of hogfish around here, but nowadays, I hardly see any. You protect one area, the fish do their thing, make a bunch of babies that spread all over the sea. What's the problem? If we protect certain parts of our sea, it keeps all parts working right.
I was against that phase, but knowing what I know now, I totally agree with having marine protected areas.
I support marine protected areas.
We support marine protected areas.
Look for Bahamas Protected on Facebook. Sign the petition. Sign the petition.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Hey, yeah, I just reached. I asked them now because they close in like 5 minutes. Okay, hold on. Oh, sorry. Hi. I heard y'all added more things to pay, like government fees or something.
Yes, sir. We're now accepting payments for Department of Immigration, Department of Labor, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Okay, good. I come to pay a police record and a labor certificate.
Okay, no problem. What's the name?
Uncle Boogaloo.
What's the first name?
Uncle.
And the last?
Boogaloo. You in the system.
Are you paying by cash, sir?
Coins.
Pardon?
Oh, and you could put a couple of them coins on my BPL bill. They just cut me off last night. I don't know what happened. Hey, Uncle, you straight. Yeah, don't forget my horse fish now.
Pay your government fees today at Cash and Go.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investment and Aviation, the Honourable I. Chester Cooper, among those paying respects to former Senator and veteran hotelier J. Barry Farrington, who died at the age of 85. Cooper thanked Farrington's family for loaning him to the Bahamas, acknowledging that he will be remembered for his contribution to the local tourism industry.
He is legendary for bringing people together, for handling difficult situations, for managing very complicated business transactions. And he was revered, admired, but also he was emulated by many of the up-and-coming individuals in financial services, in tourism, of course, and across the board. We are grateful for the service that he has given to our country. He has been a stabilizing force with Atlantis and many of the other names that that property may have held over many years. So he will be fondly remembered for his contribution to our country.
Also reflecting on the many contributions made by the well-decorated hotelier were former Prime Ministers, the Right Honourable Perry Christie and the Right Honourable Hubert Ingram.
He was a true nationalist, believed in the Bahamas. I saw him as the chairman of the gaming board. When I was chairman of the gaming board, I worked with the hotels that Barry was always very effective in helping us solve problems when I was chairman of the gaming board. I became later Minister of Tourism. We interacted well. He was there from the old days of Crosby and Davis, and then he made the transition to Kersner, and he was always a great ambassador for our country.
I've known Barry for 40 plus years. When I ran as an independent in the election 1987, he came to my rescue with a significant donation. We worked together when I represented hotels in the union and in negotiation with unions, and I have kept in touch with him, he with me, over all these years. He was a good man. He contributed to society in a good way.
Well, like a good neighbor, Zednas is there. Just ask the Cancer Society, who today was handed over a check from staffers of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas as part of its celebration marking 44 years of television.
Wanted to do something to give back and to let you know we thank you so much for all the good work you and your organization that you do on behalf of all the people of the Bahamas. And so on behalf of the staff of ZNS, as we celebrate, we say thank you to you.
Now, accepting the donation was a grateful Aaron Stoor, administrator of the Cancer Society, who admits it takes a whole lot of money to run programs to educate the public on prevention and early detection.
We have the Cancer Caring Center that houses persons from the Family Islands that stay at the Cancer Caring Center free of charge. They're there to get their cancer treatment. We also have programs like the FIMS, which is the Family Island Mammogram Screening. That has been placed on hold for 2 years since COVID. And that too, we need funding for that because we allow persons, women from the Family Islands through the other branches of the Cancer Society in those islands to come here. Free of charge, we fly them over and they get their mammogram done and we fly them back. We also have the clinics in the different islands that do the pap smear, the PSA, and the self-breast examination. So funding from general public, from corporations, go a long way with us, with those programs.
And as we celebrate 44 years of television here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, we take a look back at some of the productions put on over the years, including fun talent shows.
Mr. Sanders, listen here.
Excuse me there, ma'am. It's Mr. Saunders, Mike Saunders.
Okay, Mr. Saunders. That's one thing with you know, the end when you go off to school. You all want to come back, change your name to Mr. Saunders, but it's Sanders.
I know y'all think I can say I use Ambi skin cream. And I don't use Siobhan soap or Topper either. Them things are joke. That's right, baby. I just use I want me white skin bleacher.
Listen here, I'm gonna call you back because I don't know what thing this is just walking my office.
Excuse me, ma'am. I got to move a gal named Sony Storch. She here?
That depends on who is asking you. What do you mean?
I may be Joel Ezekiel Zachariah Roy White with a capital W, and I comes to straighten it out.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The past is what drives us, but it is no more. In it, we learn valuable lessons about where we came from. The future is what we aspire to. but it is yet to be written. Thinking about it allows us to plan for a better tomorrow. The present is the only thing we possess right now. It is the moment when we rise to the occasion, so that we stand in the beauty and wonder of who we are, where our strength really matters, because our resilience speaks for itself. We plan for where we are today, a strong company, a powerful network, built by the people, for the people, because we believed in best, because we lived for the moments, and we delivered. You know what we were, and now you get to see who we are. We are alive.
Do you know that adherence is more than taking medications? It calls to you to stick to the medical regimen as prescribed by your healthcare provider. If you have been asked to have your labs drawn to assess your kidney and liver function, please keep your lab appointments, as these determine the effects medications are having on your body. Follow-up doctor's appointments are necessary, as this is the time when the doctor performs a physical examination and discusses any test results and any concerns or issues you may have with your course of treatment. Specialized services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy are necessary as they help to restore you back to normal health. Sticking to prescribed diet and exercise regimens can improve medication effectiveness and contributes to overall health and well-being. Make a commitment today to be adherent to your medication regimen and practice healthy living.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas AIDS Foundation with funding provided by PEPFAR, USAID Local Capacity Initiative Small Grant.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. When a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours, you should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television or radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and keep children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and a car tank full of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds up to 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor in your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Ever since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom suffered violence, and the violence took it by storm, calling the afflicted, calling all souls in despair. Welcome to the Voice of Deliverance telecast from the ministry that is reaching out all over the land, delivering souls and changing lives. The Voice of Deliverance. We're on the move for the Lord. The Voice of Deliverance. We've got a message from the Word.
We can go to Inagua, see the flamingos, get to Exuma, show you all the tingo, juicy pineapples, the taste of Ilutra. Nothing but happiness in our future. Sail through Long Island, dive in Bimini, explore the caves, down in the berries. So many islands, gems and keys, beauty to explore, taste and see.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
2 years after Hurricane Dorian swept through Abaco, leaving behind tens of millions of dollars in damage, the rebuilding continues. And while it's a slow and tedious process for some, for others, things really haven't changed at all. Carla Palmer has the story.
They were caught up in the floodwaters of Hurricane Dorian 2019 on the island of Abaco. But unlike so many others, they survived. Since that day back on September 1st, friends, Anthony Morley of Marsh Harbor and Sherry Roll of Dundas Town, considered themselves truly blessed and grateful.
The fact that the good Lord would have allowed us to survive, to hold on to our lives, I would hope that we can come together as a people and help one another, be our brothers' keepers.
I was at my home through Jerry Corner when Dorian hit landfall. We only came out with our lives and the clothes on our backs.
Losing everything was an experience for both families, each having to relocate for a while. Having returned home on Abaco Island a year following the monster storm, Roll and Molly are tasked with rebuilding.
As far as the rebuilding process, I am still trying to get situated. Nothing has happened for me as yet, but just waiting for assistance.
While Molly, however, has had more success in erecting a structure, his advancements are not without challenges.
One of the difficulties I have in the rebuilding process is that I can never find all of the material or the type of material that I need. In addition to that, I've experienced my material being stolen. I cannot speak for everyone, but that has been my challenge. And the area where I'm building in Leisure Lee, I can tell you of at least 3 horror stories of persons or builders losing a large number of material. And the culprits don't take some, or they don't take what they need, they take all. And replacing them again is difficult and it's extremely expensive.
There is still a lot of persons that are in tents and domes and unfortunately cars that really need somewhere to live.
Help towards normalcy in making life better is what these residents of Abaco say they are wishing for as the Christmas season fast approaches. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
A group of 7 women from Eleuthera taking steps to safeguard their health by getting mammogram screenings at the 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center today. The women were able to travel here to the capital to get the screening done thanks to the sponsorship of U.S.-based organization I'm Every Woman. President and Executive Director of I'm Every Woman, Solambra Ingram, says she's glad to help.
Our goal is for resources, information, and encouragement for women to be able to help them whenever they're in need. And when I came to Eleuthera about 4 years ago, I just saw the need for women that needed to be tested. So I actually reached out for Ms. Cooper and asked, is there anything that we could do? So here we are today, and it wouldn't be for my other sponsors or people that joined with me. Thank you so kindly to our sponsors, mainly Mr. Byron Farwell and his company, All Cities Management Services, as well as Links Incorporated from Inglewood, and again, the Cancer Society of Eleuthera.
President of the Cancer Society in Eleuthera, Sharon Cooper, is hoping more organizations step forward to sponsor trips of this nature.
This is such a very important and most appreciated trip for us because, you know, we've been looking for more sponsorship for this type of thing. Now, we have been doing this for the past probably 14 years from being sponsored by the Ride for Hope organization. However, they were not able to do it, you know, because of the pandemic over the last year 2 years almost. And we are hoping to be back on stream with them in 2022. So, you know, this is why we so appreciate this, because we have been looking for other sponsors.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Thank you, Makishla. Outside of our studios, we are under cloudy skies with some thunderstorms. Temperature at 75 degrees. Relative humidity 88%. We have some strong winds out of the southeast at 22 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,014.6 millibars. That is 29.97 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 77s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Tool, Key, and Marshall, Babaco. The Berry Islands, 81 also in Alistown, Bimini, 81 in Harbor Island. Rock, Sunny, Lutra, 79 degrees. Artistown, Kid Island, 82. Black Point, Exuma, 80. Camp Space on Andros also reporting 80 degrees. Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 81. 82s in San Salvador and Rim Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 81. 83 in Rycat Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 85. Acklands, Matthew, Tiny, Nagua at 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 86 degrees. Any boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, but they will be gusty near showers and thunderstorms. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet, locally higher in gusts. High tide 9:49 tonight, and caution flags are in place for your boaters in the northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeastern islands tonight, southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with caution flags up as well. And then tomorrow, Saturday, the winds become easterly. They fall off to about 10 to 15 knots. Seas down 2 to 4 feet. High tide 10 in the morning. Low tide at 4:37 in the afternoon for the central and southeastern islands on Saturday. Southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, meaning we will maintain the caution flags on Saturday for the central and southeast Bahamas. On Sunday, the winds become easterly, increasing once again to 15 to 20 knots in the northwestern islands. The wave heights building 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. High tide, that's going to take place at 10:48 in the morning. The low tide at 5:18 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Sunday, east to southeast winds, they fall off 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights subsiding 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Listen, you know, hear that? Spike ball, coming from the island, with that movie stock, in the yard, to say what? From the hole, what it is, come on, well, I came down on them like didn't bug. 9 months in my mama's belly, when I was born,
and that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
When a hurricane watch or warning is issued, medical emergency services are placed on high alert. For many persons seeking medical care, defining what an emergency is can be difficult to assess given all that is occurring during the storm. The following basic guidelines are designed to help you assess your emergency. If you are experiencing symptoms like shortness of breath, chest pain, severe pain, disorientation, extreme vomiting or diarrhea, vision disturbance, or suicidal thoughts, you should seek immediate medical assistance. If you are bleeding significantly or otherwise severely injured, seek emergency assistance immediately. Children presenting with symptoms like high fever and extremely listless or lethargic behavior need to be taken to the emergency room immediately. If you are unsure of the extent of your condition, you are advised to seek medical assistance immediately. Share your symptoms with the on-call doctor and get advice as to whether or not it can wait until normal business hours. Remember, emergency care is not a convenient option for basic medical care during a storm. The Public Hospitals Authority encourages members of the public to use these basic guidelines to help decide on whether something is an emergency or not. The authority reminds the public that in the case of an emergency, always call 911 or head immediately to the emergency room. This message is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
One of the things that the church must be aware of, that this is no seat time and season for us to get so deep and holy that we can't hail folk who hurting next to us. We can't hail the people in our neighborhood. We can't see how hungry they are. We can't get too deep, brothers and sisters, and so anointed that we forget that if someone hurt you, you gotta forgive them.
Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on ZNS TV 13.
Andros is the #1 bone fishing destination on our planet. Sports fishermen visit our flats every year to participate in one of the most fulfilling outdoor activities known to man, fly fishing. And guess what? It's 100% sustainable. Without areas like the west side of Andros, sustaining this industry would be absolutely impossible. So let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
It's a part of all of our lives. ZNS TV is where we go for information, entertainment, and enjoyment. ZNS is there with something for everyone. ZNS TV, a part of our lives for 40 years.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns opened up their NBA regular season schedule on Wednesday night with a loss to the Denver Nuggets. In addition to the game itself, DeAndre is still dealing with the fallout from not getting a new contract after the deadline earlier this week.
Throughout my whole life, I've always learned, to control what I can control. Same time, obviously, I'm disappointed, but I'm still trying to get us back to the finals. I still got to represent the team and myself.
Meantime, Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings are all smiles after finishing the preseason undefeated. The Kings carried that momentum over to their regular season opener where they beat the Portland Trail Blazers. In the process, Buddy tied the record for most three-pointers made in the franchise history with 1,070.
It's a blessing, like I always say, coming from where I came from, and I keep telling the story over and over, but like being a guy from the Bahamas, everything coming to Sacramento, be patient soccer, the bracket, it's a blessing. He's humble. Pedro taught me a lot. For this game time, he's been in Sacramento, and I'm blessed. Just like I said, keep writing my name in the history books, in Sacramento history books, and I can't see what I got in store for this year, and many more years to come, for sure.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocol. Restaurants may operate utilizing curbside pickup, drive-thru, takeaway, or delivery. Any establishment who allows the entry of any person not wearing a mask is liable upon a summary conviction to a fine of $500. I am Ambassador Ashanti Ruko of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be your own.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Did you know that there are over 30,000 Bahamians with diabetes and another 23,000 with prediabetes? Each year, this number is expected to increase. Many people who have diabetes are unaware. If you are having blurry vision, feeling thirsty, urinating frequently, or are unusually tired or losing weight despite a healthy diet, you may have diabetes. If you have a parent or sibling that has diabetes, you are also at an increased risk of developing diabetes. If you have noticed any of these symptoms, it is important to see your doctor, who will perform the necessary tests to confirm the diagnosis. Together, we can beat diabetes.
Here are your COVID-19 isolation tips. Protecting others while in quarantine or self-isolation. While in quarantine or self-isolation, use safety measures to protect yourself and community from spreading COVID-19. Being in quarantine or self-isolation can make you feel anxious or stressed. Ensure that you take care of your emotions. Physical distancing does not mean socially disconnected. Stay connected with family and friends digitally. Keep a daily routine. Exercise daily, get rest, eat healthy, engage in activities, avoid unhealthy behaviors, and seek information from credible sources. You are not alone. Contact our hotline at 819-7652 or any of the numbers that appear on your screen.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, it's quiet again this evening, and our satellite picture on the home front is showing a mid to low level troughing across the Bahamas, and that will continue to provide cloud covers right through the weekend with pockets of showers and thunderstorms, some of which will be heavy at times. Our forecast for tonight calls for cloudy conditions with thunderstorms in the mix, 73 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow the cloudiness will continue with a couple more showers and thunderstorms, particularly in the late morning and afternoon hours. We'll see them starting to crank up. 82 degrees, your high temperature tomorrow, and the extended weather forecast, the wet stuff, will continue right into Monday with those showers and thunderstorms, as we promise you, which will be heavy in spots. Temperature-wise, we'll be in the low 80s to mid 80s, at least during the next several days. That will take us into Monday. Then we'll see things start rising on Tuesday, getting back up into the mid to upper 80s. Nighttime temperatures remain comfortable throughout the 7-day period. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And as we celebrate our 44th year of television broadcasting, it feels great to be your home. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Sometimes, when you're living a fabulous life like I do, you've just got to take a break and make time to take care of your own mind, body, and soul so they can be at their most fabulous. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how I took a few days just for myself, just to make sure that my mind, body, and soul were fit and fabulous. We'll start in an unusual and ancient place where the beautiful Bahamian environment surrounds you with serenity. Next, I'm going to give my body a real challenge, then learn all about nutritious refreshment. Tomorrow, we'll begin with